Only on CBS Mornings, we're getting rare access to a treasure trove of evidence stored at the FBI's archive inside the Bureau's headquarters in Washington. From the Unabomber's reconstructed cabin to the boat where the Boston Marathon bomber was caught, the archive contains artifacts from some of the country's most notorious crimes, and only a handful of people have had access to this room. However, the FBI allowed our Jeff Begay's and our CBS News cameras to go inside.
Many of the artifacts in this secured room have never been on display for the public to see. This is evidence, some of it from recent FBI cases, some of it from the 90s, 80s, even the 1920s and 30s.
Let's put the gloves on.
Fragile to the touch and treasure for FBI historian John Fox.
These are the parts of our past that tell our story in a very different way.
The FBI story began in 1908 with the establishment of the Bureau of Investigation. The mission and makeup of the organization evolved and grew over the next 2 decades. By the 1920s and 30s, the Great Depression and Prohibition spawned violent bank robbers and killers known as gangsters.
These gangsters were like celebrities.
They were almost celebrities, yeah.
But J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI's founding and longest-serving director, used his crackdown on gangsters to make the FBI a household name.
Hoover thought of them as public enemies, that people who needed to be, dealt with.
Outlaws like John Dillinger and Babyface Nelson were hunted down and killed in shootouts with law enforcement, and later immortalized by their death masks.
At that time, law enforcement would put the remains of some of these gangsters on display for everybody to see.
There was almost a public production. When Dillinger was shot outside of the Biograph Theater, people were actually dipping their handkerchiefs in the blood for a memento.
What do you think when you look around this room?
Paul Abate is the FBI's deputy director.
I think it's the history of the FBI, and I think about the mission that we do, the work, keep people safe, protect the country, and it's a reminder that we constantly have to stay focused on that.
The Chronicles of the FBI is also a record of the shifting threats to the country through the years. And in the last 40 years, a new threat emerged: homegrown terrorism.
We just had some kind of explosion downtown.
In 1995, the FBI launched one of its most significant investigations to date in the aftermath of the Oklahoma City bombing. This is a replica of the rental truck used to house and transport the explosives, along with a model of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building.
It shows the cutout of what parts of the building were actually damaged.
All evidence used to convict mastermind Timothy McVeigh, who was executed by lethal injection in June 2001. And the Unabomber's cabin has been reconstructed here inside the FBI. It's where Ted Kaczynski made bombs that killed 3 people and injured nearly 24 others. The manhunt for the 2013 Boston Marathon bombers ended here in this bullet-riddled boat, where Dzhokhar Tsarnaev was found hiding.
How does this inform what federal agents are doing today?
It's the lessons learned from the past. That includes failures, mistakes,
and loss.
He was my soulmate.
Joanne Hatton's husband, Lenny, was an FBI agent in New York.
He was everything I could have ever asked in a husband.
On 9/11, he raced to the World Trade Center to help.
This is Lenny. Just tell everybody I'm okay, all right?
Lenny Hatton died that day in the line of duty, and his passport is on display in the archive.
The interesting thing about the passport is that the expiration date is actually
September 11th.
2001.
Wow.
This was given to us by his wife to help us to tell the story of Agent Hatton and his career and his sacrifices in fulfilling the Bureau's missions.
It's near and dear to your heart.
Exactly.
Lenny Hatton's story and many others stored in this secure FBI archive in the Hoover Building remind new and veteran agents of the lives lost, and also the sacrifices made in pursuit of the values on the Bureau's seal.
Walking through here every day, I think about the victims and ensuring that we prevent those types of harm from ever happening again.
For CBS Mornings, Jeff Pegues in Washington.
Very cool.
Jeff Pegues, well done, Jeff Pegues. I love anything that you can see behind the scenes, but the passport, guys, the passport with the expiration date, Lenny's passport.
Very spooky.
September
no doubt
11,
about it.
2001.
You realize how many of these stories helped shape our collective thought on crime and punishment. I mean, we're familiar with them because we've seen them so many times over and over again. So to walk through those halls had to be eerie.
I like that the FBI cares enough to have an official historian. I hope he gets to flash the badge, kick down doors, and confiscate things for history.
The badge out?
Yeah.
And I like that they showed what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Yeah, no doubt about it.